Why am I here?
Albert Vato. His teenage daughter's been missing all weekend.
Her name is Nina. Do you have kids, Joe? No. I've heard of these places.
If she's there, I'll get her.
I want you to hurt them.
It's done.
Well, it's based on a novella by Joaquin Phoenix, and it's one of those really tight books that you probably read in 90 minutes. And he really meant it that way. He wanted it to be a page-turner, and it's a sort of pulpy noir, very New York story about a kind of enforcer, I guess, like a gun for hire who has a past and gets embroiled in this job that goes wrong. So on paper it sounds like, you know, quite generic. But what's really amazing about it was the character was a real, you know, a guy having a bit of a midlife crisis, to be honest, and a bit going to seed, you know, lives with his mum, you know, like suicidal, but in a kind of blackly comic kind of way, and he's only kind of sticking around for her. So he's a bit like a ghost in his own life. And somehow I thought, I kind of started thinking about it as a kind of Lazarus story, as a guy that comes back to life.
What's all this?
That Cincinnati kid?
Parents are florists.
A warm thank you for getting their darling daughter back home safe.
Flowers.
Josephine loved flowers.
I could never see the point myself. God bless her.
You could just call me directly, you know, like a normal person.
I wrote the first draft in about 4 weeks. I put Joaquin Phoenix's photo up in my screensaver and kind of willed him into the movie because I know he's quite choosy. And I thought he would bring a real sort of like a lot of different elements to it and a lot of dimension to it. So it just started evolving from there, really, because it was very short. Because of the nature of what it was, genre-wise, it was like I could build in so many things which were really a character study in a way, and a kind of about now as well, about nothing being black and white and sort of trauma creating other traumas and like lots of other worlds. So it was a really kind of interesting place to dig into, but still have a compelling, exciting film to watch. One thing that John and I talked about, Jonathan Ames, was I said, look, I'm going to go in my own direction with this. I never really make a straight adaptation. I don't think he'd really completely finished it, really, and so it was like me finishing the story. Was that he said was, I just want to have that same quality. I just like moving. Outside of that, it was like, how do we tell a story in 5 shots? How do we tell a whole scene in 2? How do we do it in 1? And so there was this sort of challenge in it, and it felt very creatively alive. Joaquin, he's a really compelling person. I mean, he's super smart. He's, there were some things even in the script where, that seemed, in the novella where, seemed pretty cool or whatever. And like, he's got a great thing for feeling that something feels a bit inauthentic, So there was things the character had, like latex gloves and, the gadgets and the blah, blah, blah. And I think he just was like, these props are, let's not use any props, we don't need that, And so it was good because sometimes I was reminded of some little things in the script that I think that seemed to fit more with the book than the end product, and also it was great because he came so early to the process. It was like another filmmaker. It was like having a DP there, so you talk about something, you figure it out together, and we, and he's forever questioning things, which I think is a really beautiful way to be. Sometimes that you're like, oh God, that's infuriating, but sometimes often it just was new things were coming, and it felt entirely creative. So to me, he felt a bit in the same manner Tilda did a bit as well, or other actors I worked with, Samantha Moore and John C. Reilly, but especially, I guess with how, he was there transforming himself physically in front of my eyes and becoming this beast that he just felt like a member of the crew. But, he is, he's a really astonishing person in so many ways, like just in terms of how sharp he is, I think very much in images and sounds, so obviously the more experience you get. I mean, I was a still photographer before I went to film school and I'd never made a film. And then when you learn about editing, to me, it's quite close to music, and it's a lot to do with kind of feeling it on a set and being really aware. One thing I learned really in Ratcatcher is like whatever's in your minds and like you've got so set on, you have to be aware of your surroundings as well, because sometimes something better happens. So you know, sometimes there's a disaster, but that disaster becomes a triumph. You know, like you know, and you're always thinking. So it's not like you just get a set of storyboards or a shot list and you went, oh, you know, there it is. It's not like that, you know.
Hey, excuse me. No, at 239 Western.
Relax. What's your name?
Scott.
I'm Mr. Rogers. Listen, I'm gonna ask you some questions. Please be honest with me. All right, security. How many are there? Huh? Is there one? More than one? 2, 3? Come on, talk.
2.
2? Where? Where in the house are they?
One guy inside the front door, second guy on the top floor.
Where's the playground?
It was terrifying. I've never done any action sequences. I've never done anything with a gun. It can feel really, you know, Joaquin and I were like, is this CSI? You know, like, you know, you just, like, can feel a little bit you're in that the language of movies. And it is a movie in respects. But that was a real challenge, actually, because I was like, how the hell do I approach this? And so I started thinking about it and also because of the time limitations, it wasn't like we had, like, you know, like we had 6 days to shoot an action sequence. Like, you know, we'd like half a day or like, you know, some crazy amounts of time. So you have to think in economy then. But that was good because it was kind of like, I thought about the violence as a separate script. It was like, you know, it starts off, it's very mechanical, it's very in and out, which led to a kind of way of filming it that was quite risky. And it was like, if I didn't pull it off, I wasn't going to get the chance to reshoot it. But I tested it. Like, I did a little test, and I was playing with it and editing it and stuff, and working with, like, showing it to my editor as well. And then the second part of the violence, it feels like much more personal. And then I think the third, the way I saw it in my little script was the third is like a kind of post-rage. You know, so you don't see what happens, you just see the aftermath. So, you know, I was really conscious of every single one of these being sort of like a pattern and kind of build into something or not, you know, like taking the rug away as well. And also leaving quite a bit up to people to join the dots, because we see explicit violence like a lot. It's kind of banal almost, you know. That was a real challenge, and it was a challenge for Joaquin as well, because he'd never done a character like this. I mean, there was bits where we just looked at each other and were like, is this dumb, or, you know? Do you know what I mean? So it was always good to sort of test each other, you know, feeling like, you know, are we going into that cliche kind of movie genre trope that you've seen a million times, or that's not interesting. And then I think more and more that's where it led to becoming like this kind of deranged character study. A lot of people think, oh, you put the sound on at the end, you know. We never did that, and you have to explain that sometimes to people, because they don't, you know, not every filmmaker works like that. It's like I would have a cut, and then I would work on the sound and bring the sound work back in and recut. The same with the music, you know. The music would be like, we'd get the music, we'd recut to the music because it wasn't cut to picture. I suppose you have to kind of make people understand like that's part of your process is in an edit, you know, because I think that some people do just, you know, maybe that comes at a later stage. For me, it comes really early on. We were pre-mixing right the way through this. I had a mixing desk and, you know, things like that in the cutting room, you know. I think it's getting more exciting for me. I mean, really, it's like, especially, you know, when you're, you know what I mean, you're on set with this, like you get this crew that, like, you know, the people I'm working with. I mean, I was working with Johnny Greenwood and Paul Davis. They're kind of at the top of their game, and Joaquin, and like just this kind of creative energy, and Tom Townend. You know, everybody in the crew as well. This young crew was very energising. It's amazing. It's like the best job in the world. You have tons of responsibility, but it's a privilege as well. I mean, and I always feel nervous before anything I do. Everything I do, I always feel terrified, you know, and I think you should, you know. I think that's where good ideas come from.